Let's clap hands for my wife. Well, I had written a speech. I thought I would have collapsed by now. So just in case I collapse while I'm reading the script, the speech, someone will continue. Just leave me there collapsed. But my speech must continue. It must not stop. And here it goes. Oh, the speech is in English. So at times with my mother, she will speak to me in Tsonga. Then I'll respond in English. Then I'll tell her, you took me to private school to speak English. So I speak English today. And that was a continuous argument. Even last week, I remember she called me Stembiso. I'm like, no, I'm Providence. You gave me another English name. I'm Providence. So my name is Stembiso Providence Machimane. I was born on a Wednesday morning, 7:45, 25 May 1988. That is what my mother said as I was growing up. I knew each and every year, the 25th of May, her time of call was 7:45 in the morning to wish me a happy birthday. I will often tell myself that my birthday has not started until Mom gives me a call. Of the 35 years, she had only missed it once, which was a few years ago. Yesterday, when we went to the mortuary, I was part of the first few people that arrived there. Then a few minutes, everyone started arriving. We had done this a couple of times as a family. We know and we understand the drill. We go gather there at the mortuary. I started looking around and noticed that someone is missing. My mind said, "Ayihelelanga, asiphelelanga, hona le o asiling teng." Then it dawned on me that that missing person is the one whom we were fetching. I don't remember much of my childhood life with my mother around. All I knew, she was a nurse working in Mapumamalanga. That's what the white people call it at work. Mapumamalanga. One memory that kept on coming back is the day when she ran away from me going back to work. I cried that day. Whenever she returns home, she will share stories with us. And all those stories became a bond throughout our lifetime. I'll often call and narrate a phrase from one of those stories, for it was relating to the current moment. One of the stories that we continuously repeated was this one, about a little girl who ran away from home to go and live with her mother without informing her father. It took years for the father not seeing his daughter. This other day, the father came across his daughter as he was embarking on the bus. Sitting there was his daughter, and he was in shock. And these were his words, and he exclaimed, "Geri n'wana mina, o suka kaya u ambale xisokisana xin'we." And the father continued with much joy in his eyes, holding a pack of bananas, and said the following, "I have nothing to show you that I love you, my girl, but only with these bananas." Unquote. At most, if we want to give the other something, we would quote that phrase, "I have nothing to show you that I love you, but only with these bananas." There are many stories. Let me quote just a few. There was another one when I will always say, "Mfundisi, Mfundisi, ngibona ingozi." This was a story, a pastor with his church board. And as they were discussing meetings, one of the church board members said, "Mfundisi, Mfundisi, ngibona ingozi." And another one she will say, "Akiri, I'm just a BBT, born before technology. I will forever cherish such. The greatest pain, Pastor Pet, the greatest pain is not that she is gone, but who will feel her part in our lives. She has touched many of our lives. Growing up, Kosi and I have never felt that we were the only children. But what she did for us was replicated to the next person. To those that could not understand English, Tsonga, that's what Sis Eunice was trying to say in her message. Amen. So her children have never been special, but we were all special. Just 2 days after her passing, I just drove down the street from her house, and there's a guy that sells, normally comes in the house and does chores. He cleans around, and washes her car. I just went and I told him, "Bruh, have you heard?" And he said, "What?" And I told him the news. And in shock, he just left me. Went away just to be by himself for a moment of silence. There are 2 advices that my mother gave me as I was growing up. One of the advices that she gave me, which I cherish a lot this day, is that she uprooted me from bad influence. There is not much that she has done in advising. But when I look at 20 years ago, when I look at 21 years ago, and those advices and I compare them today, then I realize that indeed she was uprooting me and planting me in a great pasture. Secondly, as a teenager and kids, we don't like going to church. And on that day she came back and she was around that day. And she told me to bath and go to church. And I retaliated, "It's too late to go to church." These were my words. These were her words. As long as the pastor, and at that time she's referring to Pastor Sadiki, as long as the pastor has not yet preached, you are not too late. Since then, I've been running to church. And I'm honored to have been brought up by her. To date, she had only slapped me once, which I still consider that slap injustice. You see, my grandmother used to say that when we go to heaven, our files will be opened. I just pray that my file gets opened for that claim. I won't say that my mother was my pillar of strength, my everything, my joy, or my friend. She was neither of those. She was just my mother. Of all her siblings, Matimba, I'm not referring to me, Matimba, Karabo, Miranda, Gifty, of all my siblings, we call her Mama, all of us. But their mothers, we call them by Sis Eunice, Sis Iris, Sis Onika. And I don't understand why she enforced that on every one of us. Even to date, you heard me unconsciously, so I said Sis Eunice. But to her, even if I can call Bambi or Garabo, they will just say Mama. There are so many things that I can say about her. But one thing that I'm grateful for is that she had never hindered me in my life. When she saw a path that I was taking, she had never held me back. And that's one thing that I'm grateful for. She has never complained. She has never said you spend too much time at church. And what I'm grateful for is that of the so many things that, you see, my mother never taught me how to read the Bible. My mother never taught me how to pray. She never taught me all of those things. But she had allowed me to be with people who can teach me those things. And night and day, she never said, stop going to that place. And today, I cherish each and every one of you. The reason why many of us, we know each other, it is because of she never hindered me. It is sad to see her go. It is painful to see her go. Let me just end with this. Last week, Monday, she called me. I was in Joburg, she called me. Then I had to quickly rush to Pretoria to fetch her and take her home. As we are driving back, she tells me she's not well and all of those things. But this is what she says. Next week, in March, I want to go home. This is what she said to me. In March, I want to go home. And as I listen to her, she wants to go home. So the reason why she wants to go home, because there's another plot at home that we digged. I think there's water that now is now moving. That's like, I want to go home and celebrate that we now have a borehole of water. And so like the following week, I'm going for a conference. Now, as she got admitted, it dawned on me. It became very difficult for me. And my prayers was like, God, if she says she wants to go home, let it not be this week. Let it not be this week. And it was one of the most difficult times of my life when I had to consent some few things for her in the hospital. And I had made a decision that if ever she was to live and be on ICU, and I'm asked to terminate, I will not terminate it on the week that she said she wants to go home. Because I started understanding all of these things. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you whom you have allowed here to be part of your life. And some of you, I might not see you or speak to you. Thank you so much for your support. We cherish you. May God continuously keep you and bless you. And please, I did not collapse. Please clap hands for me. All right, thank you. So that's the end of my speech.